Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Julia and I am a hiker, aspiring through hiker of the Appalachian Trail 2024. Will be my second attempt, as my first attempt was in 2023. So thank you for tuning in today. And I thought that I would take a few minutes and answer some questions that I have not just gotten on my YouTube channel at times, but also just in general, on the day-to-day, people that I meet about through hiking a trail, being a female through hiking a trail, so forth. And I thought I would just bring you to my local park. It's a beautiful day here, and let's talk about this. So I picked 1, 2, 3, I kind of have them written down, 7 questions or that I get asked the most. And the first question that I get asked when people say, well, how long is that? I've heard about that hike. How long is it? And the Appalachian Trail for this year, and it changes a little bit every year, obviously, depending on routing, flooding, change of trail. For 2024, it is 2,197.4 miles and travels through 14 states, starting in Georgia and ending in Maine. If the average hiker hikes 12 miles a day, it will take you 183 days to complete the trail. Now, obviously, in the beginning, you're walking less days. Throughout the trail, you're taking days off. And then as you get your trail legs under you, you're walking more miles. But the average is about anywhere from 4 to 6 months. We'll see how long it takes me. The second question that I get is, how do we handle my family obligations while I'm gone? Well, one, I have 4 children, 3 of which are grown up and out of the house, and some of them have children of their own. Nick is about to turn 17 and he will be at home with his father while I am gone. But other than that, I don't have any other major obligations. I don't care for anybody on a daily basis, and so I'm able to take the time to do this trail, and so I'm going to take advantage of it while I can, because you never know. The third thing is, how do I communicate? So obviously you're fully aware that if I am out in the middle of nowhere, that I probably do not have access to cell service, which you'd be surprised sometimes on those mountains that you do. And how do I communicate? So I use the Zoleo GPS communicator, which communicates via satellite. It does have an SOS button that will communicate my coordinates should I have an emergency, and I am able to text. I'm able to text on that to people. So, I mean, obviously Joe is the one that I text the most. So if he needs to make a phone call to somewhere that I can't get service to, or just to check in when I get to camp, that is how I stay incommunicado when I'm in places where I don't have service. Obviously, when I do have service, then that's a non-issue. The third biggest question that I get or the fourth biggest question that I ask is, aren't I afraid of bears? Now, we worked a summer in Yellowstone National Park, and the bears that they have in Yellowstone are grizzly bears. So if you're going to have a fear of bears, those are probably the ones that are the biggest fear to have in regards to bears. So along the AT, you have black bears, and black bears typically do not want anything to do with us. If you do hear of bear issues, they typically are because there is food in the area. You're wearing something on you that is scented and that smells like food, or somehow you walk up and startle a mother with her cubs. And so, once you educate yourself on things that may potentially cause you fear, you're able to kind of, I don't know the word that I want to say, but you're able to kind of like not allow that fear to stop you from something that you might necessarily want to do. And a lot of times that fear is of something that is never even going to happen. It's more up here. So focusing on some of up here will help you with those fears. Another question that I get asked is, where do I sleep? When I'm out on trail, I prefer to sleep in my own tent. And believe it or not, it's warmer in your tent because you're not in a more open environment. So I like him. I like to be able to, have my privacy, my quiet time at camp. So my tent is my number one choice. Second, if there's going to be bad weather, rain, and so forth, then most of the time people are stopping in the shelter areas. Even if they sleep in their tent, they're near the shelters because the shelters provide you a lot of times with water source and privies, so for you to use. So tent is number one, shelter is number two as far as on trail. And then going into towns, you have the choice of either staying in hostels or hotels. And really, I don't have a preference of one over the other. Hostels, you're going to get the camaraderie of your fellow thru hikers. The hotels, you're going to get a little bit more privacy and solitude if you want that. So they both have their pros and cons. It's just really depending on what you're in the mood for and where you at and where you're at on the trail and what is available to you at that time. I am a solo female hiker, so that means that I do get a lot of questions about hiking solo. Aren't I scared? Uh, the answer is, I mean, we always have things in life that we could, quote, be scared of. A lot of times, like I said previously, there are things that we create in our minds that either will never happen or don't even really exist. There are things that are fed to us through, maybe something, it's not a story somebody else tells us, something we see on TV, something we read in a book, something we saw in a movie, and so forth. So I'm 54 years old now, so I consider that I think that I have some small increments of wisdom at my age from life experience. And so my life experience and just, and some of the things that I've had, or some of the life experiences that I have had kind of helps me, with that am I scared type of thing. I have to keep looking to the right because those tall crates, I don't want them to come back over this way and, peck me or something. So my life experiences have helped me alleviate fears that I may have in being scared. And I think a lot of that has to do is how much do you educate and prepare yourself? Going back to, am I afraid of bears? Well, if I wasn't educated in how, what causes a black bear to cause harm to a person, then yeah, I would be afraid of them. But 9 times out of 10, they don't want anything to do with us any more than we want to do with them. So it's about educating yourself and preparing yourself and being smart, and then just being aware of your surroundings. And I'm aware of my surroundings, whether I go to the grocery store, whether whether I'm taking a trip down the road or whether I'm hiking in the woods. I'm always, aware of my surroundings. And that is just, to me, just normal. So it's no different when I'm out in the woods. And I'm not going to say that there's less or more of anything out in the woods than there is in your own neighborhood. That's a perception. But, a lot of times fears and being scared of things are caused by things that people don't know and or haven't experienced. So I will just leave it at that. The final thing is I get asked, and I'm going to do a more in-depth video on this, is what do I do to train for the AT? And so just in a nutshell, a lot of what I'm doing this year is walking, yoga, hiking, Pilates, Tai Chi, and I'm going to do a video that's specific to what I have done to train this year to put myself in a better situation physically than I was last year. Now, if you followed me last year, you probably know a little bit more of my story. If you're new to my channel, last year I had planned to get on the AT, and I was having some medical issues prior to that and really had just gotten cleared from my doctor about a week before I stepped on trail. This year, I'm in a much different place, and even though I had major surgery the end of October, I've had almost 2 months since I was cleared to get back to training. So I'm definitely in a much better place physically. I'm down 20 pounds. I have changed my diet, and I've been very consistent in my workouts and focused more on um, being able to exercise for longer periods of time and using resistance as opposed to like going into a gym and trying to break myself. So I'm going for the endurance in that regards. But I will do a little bit more of a video specific on the things that I'm doing. So other than that, I mean, those are the most asked questions. Again, how long will it take me? I'm going to say anywhere from 6 to 9 months. I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to get out there and take it one step at a time, one day at a time. My family obligations, I manage those as best that I can. And everybody's grown up, and they got it. They got this. They got this in life. I communicate via my Solio app when I am out on trail. No, I am not afraid of bears. And then where do I sleep? Primarily in my tent, smattering with some shelter stays, hotel stays, and hostel stays. I am not scared to hike solo anymore. Was I in the beginning? Yes. Was I scared to camp out by myself? Yes. Now that I have mentally strengthened myself and gained experience and educated myself, and I feel prepared, no, I am not scared to hike solo, and I feel that I have a good training plan, and a lot of it I will be able to continue while I am out on trail as well, to continue, to make sure that I'm keeping myself in good shape and strong and stretching things out. So that's it. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, please list them down in the comments below. I certainly don't mind doing another shorter one of this if there's just a few. And I am just a few days, not sure when this is actually going to publish out, but at the time that I'm videoing this, I am literally just a few days, a handful of days between stepping foot back on trail. So I'm super excited, and happy trails to everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.